Goat versus fish. In the beginning, there was goat versus fish. The goatfish. And goat versus fish said that there should be goat and that there should be fish. There is no alpha or omega. There is no black or white. There is no good or evil. There is only goat and fish. And goat versus fish. Welcome to the Goat vs. Fish podcast, recorded live at the world-famous Comedy Store in Los Angeles, a place of Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish speaks to you now. You, yes you. You are part of Goat vs. Fish, forever Goat vs. Fish, and Goat vs. Fish is a part of you. You have many questions, yes? Who is Goat vs. Fish? What is Goat vs. Fish? Why is Goat vs. Fish? But there is only one question. Are you goat or are you fish? This is Goat vs. Fish. The question, once again, are you goat or are you fish? The question cannot be unasked. Some say, and it is mostly the fence-sitters who choose neither goat nor fish, but some say that they will not choose, will not answer the question for some reason or another, something that is not goat versus fish. They wish to be unburdened of the pondering, unburdened of the feeling of goat versus fish. But it is only a burden. It is only a burden when you reject goat versus fish. It is only when you reject goat versus fish that this pondering feels burdensome to you. Accept goat versus fish. Accept that goat are versus the fish, and that fish are versus the goat, and do not deceive yourself by asking to be unasked. Are you goat or fish? The question is with you now. The question is forever with you. The question cannot be unasked. The question cannot be unasked. And it was written, and it was written. New York Times. The New York Times, is it goat or fish? Goat versus Fish suspects it is a confused fence-sitter, for Goat versus Fish did see in the New York Times these false words. In Rat versus Snake, an unlikely victor. When strutting their stuff, kangaroo rats discourage snakes from attacking. Watch their moves and listen to a researcher who is studying these anti-predator displays. No. 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 This is a false versus, and we reject the false verses. There is no rat, there is no snake, there is no rat or snake. Only goat and fish, only goat and fish. On the Book of Faces, on the Twitter of Earth, send messages to @NYTimes. Send a message to @NYTimes in the name of Goat versus Fish, and tell them a snake is a goat or a snake is a fish. A rat is a goat or a rat is a fish. Send these messages in the name of Goat versus Fish at GoatVsFish to the New York Times. And we shall see. We shall see. Today, Goat versus Fish speaks to a one. These ones, they know each other by many names, call themselves many things that are not goat or fish. What is this one called? What is this one called?
My name's Nathan Hurd.
Nathan Hurd, yes. And are you goat or fish?
I'm going to have to be honest with you, man. I'm a goat.
You are a goat?
Yeah.
It is a celebration of goat. Goat versus Fish is pleased that you are a goat. Be one with the goat. Be one with the goat.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate your approval of my goatness.
Oh, yes, Goat versus Fish always approves of any goat and of any fish who wishes to be goat and fish. More goat and more fish is more Goat versus Fish. Yes, Goat?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's about that goat.
It is about the goat. Tell us about the goat. Tell us about the goat.
Goat. Come on, man. Goat or fish?
Yes.
It's goat. Because goat, I mean, is goat. Who wouldn't want? At the end of the day, who wants to be a goat or fish? You know what I mean? Like,
do you want to be a goat? You are a goat. Do you want to be a goat?
Of course, I want to be a goat. A goat goats can eat anything.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where. I mean, he's never hungry. Goats are never hungry and always hungry at the same time, man. That's yin yang, bruh. That's balance, man. A goat is balance.
A goat is balance. A goat is also versus a fish, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Goat's definitely versus a fish, but I mean, in that aspect of it, goat takes fish hands down. No contest.
No contest. Listen to this goat. Fish, are you listening? Do you hear this goat? This goat boasts that it is no contest between goat and fish. No. Tell us, how do you versus the fish? How do you, goat? How do you versus the fish in this no contest of goat versus fish?
See, here's the thing. Now, I'm not going to try and say that fish is dumb. Fish isn't dumb. You know what I mean? Fish is a shark. It's been here for millions of years. You know, fish is a grouper. You know, fish are old. Fish are there.
Yes, in the beginning there was goat versus fish.
In the beginning there was definitely goat versus fish, but goat recognized something. Hey, yo, there's better than just where fish is at.
Mm-hmm.
So goat started walking.
Yes, the goat do walk. They do frolic on the land. Yes, the goat are of the land and the fish are of the sea.
Absolutely, yes. And I think you actually hit on a really important point here. Goats can do something that fish can't do, and that's frolic.
Frolic, yes. The goat do frolic. It pleases goat versus fish to see the goat frolic, yes. How does this goat frolic? Do you frolic, goat?
Oh, this goat frolic. He's more of a frolic. His back legs don't work so well, so he kind of frolics all on front legs.
Yes, that is a goat. That is goat, but you are also goat. Yeah. How does this goat frolic?
Man, how does
Tell us how this goat frolics.
Personally, how I frolic,
yes.
I really like to be spinning.
Spinning?
Yeah, spinning. I feel like a spinning frolic is as 8-year-old as you can get, and I feel like that is the epitome of frolic-dom. Like, that's your prime frolic ages. Like, I'd say 6 to about 9 is your prime frolic ages.
Do you mean to say that as a goat passes through time, passes through the great verses of goat versus fish, that it loses gradually this ability to frolic, this ability to be a goat?
I don't think that it loses the ability to frolic, but I definitely think that other things get in the way of the frolic, if that makes any sense.
And what gets in the way of this goat's frolicking? What gets in the way of your frolicking in the name of goat?
In the name of goat? What gets in the way of my frolic?
Yes, yes.
My daily frolic, age gets in the way. I mean, like, I can't frolic like I used to frolic. I wish I could, but I can't frolic like I used to frolic.
But you can still frolic.
I can still frolic. I mean, I can still throw down a decent frolic. It's not like I can't frolic, but I can't frolic like I used to be able to frolic.
Yes. Goat versus fish would like to see this frolic. But for now, let us ask this goat: have you always been a goat, or have you at times been a fish?
I think there's probably some times where I have actually been a fish.
Yes. Some fish become goat and some goat become fish, yes. Tell us about these times that you were fish.
I feel like the times where you feel like, there's certain times in life where you feel like you don't have no hands. And I think that those are usually the times that I feel most like fish.
Yes.
Yeah, when my hands go away.
When your hands go away.
Yeah.
Yes. And what are the things that you cannot do when these hands that the fish do not have go away?
I mean, it's scary, bruh. I mean, like, if your hands just randomly disappear off your body, you're not going to automatically, you can't give high fives. And that's a problem. Like, I feel
high five. The high verses.
Yeah.
The high verses, yes, high verses.
Yeah, high verses.
Yes.
You can't do that no more without no hands. And, I mean, you have flippers, but I feel like a high fin is it's lacking something. It's not.
What do you think, fish? What do you think, fish? Do you high fin? Do you think this goat speaks the truth? The goat has said in the name of goat, and it was written that this goat said that the high fin lacks something, does lack something. Goat. Have you ever been to the sea? Have you ever traveled from the land to the sea? Have you ever been to the fence of the fence sitter that chooses neither goat nor fish?
I have been there. I call him a lifeguard, but he's the same dude. It's the same guy.
What is a lifeguard? Is it goat or fish?
He's the guy who tries to act like he's neither. You know what I mean? But he's
the fence sitter.
Yeah.
The fence sitter, yes. Tell us about this fence sitter that this goat encountered, yes.
See, he's a weird guy because he basically waits for goat to go in the water. He recognizes the transformation into fish and then tries to pull the fish out of the water, thus turning him back into goat.
You say now, goat, you say that when a goat enters the water, enters the sea, that it becomes a fish? Is this the statement of the goat?
An enlightened goat, I'm not there yet, but an enlightened goat, I feel like can go back between goat and fish, I feel.
An enlightened goat. So a goat that is its true goat can go back and forth between a goat and a fish. Yes, a true goat, if it became a fish, would of course become a goat again, for it is a goat. It is a goat. You are a goat. Let us test. Would this goat be willing to test its enlightenment? Would this goat become a fish to see what it is like to be fish, only to then return to goat? Would you return to goat? Shall we test this? Shall we test this, goat?
I'm a little scared, man. I'm a little scared to see what. I don't know, but
all one has to say is that they are fish, and they are fish. The choice is yours. Are you goat or fish? Goat versus fish asks this goat. Are you goat or fish?
I'm still goat.
Still a goat. Still a goat. Still a goat. You say that the enlightened goat could become a fish, then could become back to goat again. So you admit, and you have admitted, that you are not an enlightened goat. What does this goat feel it would need to do to become the enlightened goat that would not fear becoming the fish?
I feel like when I can frolic without trying to frolic,
yes,
that's at least getting close. I'm not there yet, though.
Yes, you must try to frolic, yes.
I do like the frolic. I do like the... I would like to frolic with fish, I think. I think that I would like to frolic with fish, but like I said, I'm not there yet. But I feel like I've never seen fish's true frolic. Because, of course, he lives in the ocean, so I haven't seen fish's true frolic.
There are some fish who say that the goat cannot truly understand the fish, and that the fish cannot truly understand the goat. What does this goat say? Could this goat understand this fish? Does this goat wants to frolic with the fish? Can one frolic with the fish and still be versus the fish?
I think you can. I mean, NFL football players, they beat the crap out of each other, and then after the game, they shake hands. So I think you can frolic with the fish, but still be versus the fish. I feel like you would actually have to. If you only frolicked with the fish, then you're only being goat.
Yes, well, a goat is only a goat. A goat is a goat.
But if you could frolic with the fish and still be goat.
Yes. This is a complex goat. Yes, wishes to frolic with the fish. Yes. Goat versus fish has heard of this NFL. Yes, the false verses of the NFL. Panthers versus lions, giants versus eagles. What is it? This is not goat or fish. It's not. It's something that's kind of detracting away from goat or fish. Yes,
and that's not good. You don't really need that. It's not necessary. But I mean, at the end of the day, I gotta agree with you, dog. Everything is goat.
What is a dog?
And fish.
What is a dog?
Oh, a dog is another thing that is kind of like a goat.
Is it a goat?
No, it's not a goat.
Is it a fish?
No, it's not a fish.
So it is a fence sitter.
Yeah.
Yes. You have called goat versus fish a fence sitter? Is that what you have done?
Dog is a fence sitter.
Yes, dog is a fence sitter, yes. Goat versus fish has heard of this goat's frolic, has heard that this goat cannot frolic like it used to, has heard that it takes effort for this goat to frolic. But will this goat frolic now? Will this goat show us this spinning frolic?
I can't do the spinning. I can do a frolic, but like I said, I can't do the spinning frolic that I once had.
What frolic can this goat do? Goat versus fish would like to see the frolic in celebration of goat versus fish. Yes, always celebrating. Yes.
Okay. Here's the frolic that I'm gonna try to do.
Yes. Let us see this frolic. This
is the slow motion frolic. You see what I'm saying? This is the frolic.
Yes.
But it's not all the way. I mean, it's leading with this hand But that's an adult frolic.
Oh, but Goat vs. Fish is pleased with this frolic. This is a goat.
Okay.
This is a frolic. This is a goat that is frolicking. It is very goat. And when it is very goat, it is very Goat vs. Fish. It is very Goat vs. Fish.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
Never too kind. Always Goat vs. Fish. Forever Goat vs. Fish. Yes.
I'm learning so much.
What do you say to the ones? What do you say to the ones who listen now, who hear the word of Goat vs. Fish now, but have not chosen goat or fish? You have learned much. Share what you have learned of Goat vs. Fish.
Look, if you guys are out there and you're listening and you haven't yet truly answered the question of goat versus fish, you haven't really answered it. I'm telling you, you got to ask the question.
Yes, always ask the question. Yes, continue.
You got to ask the question. And when you answer it, don't answer as if you are a goat or a fish. Answer as if you are not either, and then you will get the right answer.
Answer as if you are not either a goat or a fish. What does this mean, goat? What does this mean? It sounds like fence sitting.
A fence sitter is okay with the fact that he is neither. But if a person can truly ask themselves, what am I?
A goat or a fish.
There's only one answer.
Well, there is goat and there is fish, but for each one there is only one answer,
Exactly,
a goat
exactly,
or a fish. Yes.
exactly.
Some fence sitters are pleased to sit on the fence. Some fence sitters are not pleased to sit on the fence. These are particularly pitiable because they see the goat frolic, they see the fish swim, but they sit on the fence. They say they cannot choose. They cannot choose between goat and fish because they don't understand goat and fish, because they have not yet decided between goat and fish, any number of things that are not goat versus fish. But not all are pleased to sit on the fence. Some pitiably sit on the fence wishing to become goat and fish, but they do not say that they are goat or fish. They will not say that they are goat or fish. What do you say to these ones?
I think these people are just afraid to frolic. They have also forgotten their frolic. Now, see, my frolic is not what it used to be, but I still frolic.
You are not afraid to frolic. You did frolic.
Thank you. I am not afraid to frolic.
Yes.
And when you are not afraid to frolic, you will find your goat or you will find your fish. I guarantee you, you will.
Yes. You have said you wish to frolic with a fish. There are no fish here now. If some time in the great verses of Goat versus Fish, this goat was with another fish, would you frolic with that fish? Would you try to frolic with that fish?
You know, young goat would probably say no. But the goat that I am today, I would like to frolic with a fish, man. I would.
Do you know any fish? Do you know any fish?
I don't.
And if any fish wish to meet this goat, would there be a way to do this, to meet the goat so that they could versus?
If you are a fish out there, please go to my Facebook page, Nathan Hurd, Hurd. You can go there. You can go to my Instagram. It's the Hurd, same thing, and then my Snapchat, the Albino Hurd. And if you are a fish, man, hey, let's frolic. You know what I'm saying? Let's just frolic.
Yes, yes. It is goat versus fish, the goat fish. There is the unity and disunity of goat and fish. Perhaps this goat and a fish could choose goat fish. Perhaps they could choose goat fish. But it is always goat versus fish. It is always goat versus fish. Now is your time, goat. Now is your time to have the final word of goat versus fish. What do you say to the goat, to the fish, to the fence sitters, to the ones who have not heard the question? Now is the time to share your final wisdom, goat.
Look, guys, ask yourself, are you a goat or are you a fish? Because there's going to be a fight, and you need to know what side you end up on. And if you're a fence sitter, fall off the fence. You're doing yourself no good sitting on that fence, not deciding whether goat or fish. Just make a choice and be happy with that decision. Thank you guys so very much. My name's Nathan.
Yes, yes. Thank goat versus fish. Always thank goat versus fish.
And of course, thank you, Goat versus Fish.
And now the time has come to sing in celebration of Goat versus Fish. But today, in celebration of Goat versus Fish, we recognize that sometimes the goat do triumph over the fish, and the fish do triumph over the goat. Of course, it is forever goat versus fish, forever goat versus fish. But in the great verses of Goat and Fish, there are many verses of Goat and Fish, each as great as the great verses, yes. Sometimes we make noise for the goat and fish. Sometimes we test the strength of the goat and fish. Sometimes we discuss and debate goat and fish. And sometimes the goat do triumph over the fish, or the fish do triumph over the goat. It is time to share. It is time to learn the songs of triumph, so that when you are a goat triumphing over a fish, you know how to celebrate, or a fish triumphing over a goat knows how to celebrate. First, the song of the goat. The goat, the goat, the goat do triumph. The goat do triumph over the fish. The goat, the goat, the goat do triumph. The goat do triumph over the fish. That is the song of triumph of the goat. Learn it, know it, be a goat, and know the song of triumph over the fish. Now we must learn the song of triumph of fish over goat. Of course, a goat is a goat and a fish is a fish, so the song of triumph between goat and a fish could not be any more goat and fish in relation to one another. Yes, for it is goat versus fish. So now let us learn this song of fish. This song of fish that is not the song of goat. That is not the song of goat. It is the song of triumph of fish over goat. The fish, the fish, the fish do triumph. The fish do triumph over the goat. The fish, the fish, the fish do triumph. The fish do triumph over the goat. Thank you for joining Goat vs. Fish. You have now heard the word of Goat vs. Fish. The theme music for this episode was an offering by Mchinery on Soundcloud. If you or anyone who listens has a song of Goat vs. Fish, do send it. Send it to goatvsfish@gmail.com. Follow Goat vs. Fish on all social media. The Instantgram, the Book of Faces, the Twitter, all at Goat vs. Fish, all at GoatVsFish. Join the Goat vs. Fish discussion group on the Book of Faces to discuss Goat vs. Fish with other goat and fish. And when you are out in the land and the sea, look about you. Look about you. Find one who is lost. Find one who does not know the way. And ask. Simply ask. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or fish? Are you goat or fish? Thank you for being part of Goat vs. Fish. I am Goat vs. Fish, the Goat Fish. And it was written, and it was written.